Hello, guys, and we are back. Today, we are interviewing the beautiful Kim Miller. I don't know if the video played. Did you see anything? I didn't.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just get back to it. Yes, so we are back today with Kim Miller. I'm so excited to have you on my show, Kim. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and the reason why I'm excited is a couple of reasons. First of all, we are neighbors, okay? We both live in Prince William County in Virginia, so that's great. Even though I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, Kim, I didn't know that. See, we have that in common. I'm from Virginia.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wonderful. So now we have two things in common. We are both from Brooklyn. That's so exciting. Then also this beautiful woman, we were actually up a couple of years ago in the same category to be chosen for poet laureates. We made the finalist list.
Yes.
And so we both didn't get it, but she is the first African American who actually was awarded the Prince William Poet Laureate. And I'm so excited about that. That has me geeked. I love it when we come through and we shine. And I'm just so proud of you, Kim, and everything you've been able to do. And I love your poetry. Your haikus have been amazing. I want to say that. Like I love haikus, but some people don't like haikus, so they think it's so short. But it's haikus are powerful because you can catch them. You got to catch them, when you can get them. So and I love her poetry, the light that she shows. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you begin writing poetry?
Okay. So as you just heard, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I spent most of my life in Long Island, and I moved out Virginia a little while. 98, I think I moved out.
Wow.
And so married, 4 children, 2 from the heart, 2 from the stomach. Poets can't say nothing simple.
Yeah.
So 2 added to my heart through marriage and 2 pushed out the old-fashioned way.
Right.
They're all grown, though.
Yes.
And as far as poetry, I've always loved dance. I really wasn't a big fan of poetry when I was young.
Oh.
I was a horrible speller. So if you had told me then I would be writing practically every day and performing on a stage over something I had written, I'd have been like, no, that's not going to happen. But here I am. And I grew. Once I look back, I saw I was writing poetry. Because, when your early stuff is horrible. Come on, people.
Yes.
It's horrible. When I was probably in high school to my boyfriend at the time. So that's when I started writing. Serious writing, probably about 7-8 years ago.
That's wonderful. I love that story because I love it when we don't think we're equipped to do something. And then God shows up in our life and says, you are it. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's so powerful in itself. With me, poetry was I always loved to write. I used to write about people's situations. They'd be like, Chalet, write me a poem for my heartbreak. And, and so I was always the selective writer. I was also a liturgical dancer. So that's something we had in common. I was a praise and worship dancer and I did modern dance and I loved it. But it's something about, and you don't understand how that goes hand in hand because it's the emotion you bring out of it, right? And so I say poets are deep lovers, They're deep lovers. That gets us in trouble sometimes, but hope. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
My girlfriend sent me this line. I don't know who it was by, but she was like, Chalet, you love too deep. You know why? You're a poet. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. Yes. Excellent. So how was your journey in becoming the first African-American poet laureate of Prince William County? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. So it's funny because, when you went for that first time, about 4 years ago, well, 3 years ago, and we weren't picked. And I was like, after that, I'm like, I'm not doing it. That's it. I know this sounds ridiculous for those of you when you lost one time was a big deal. I get it. I get
I,
it. But
I'm like that too. So
yeah, sometimes I'm just like, I'm not doing it again. And I wasn't going to. But the Lord I'm a Christian. Don't worry. When I use that word Christian, I don't mean the crazy kind. Because, I have to make that distinction. Because,
yeah, me too. Me both same type. Yes, I understand.
yes, I can't tell you you're going to hell because I don't know where I'm going. So I can't tell you where you're going. Okay.
I love it, Kim. Yes,
So, no, I'm not that one.
right.
Judge not yet ye judge Christians. Okay. Here we
That's
go.
right. That's
Get my
right.
soapbox. So I just wasn't going to do it again. And then, the Lord's like, do it again. I'm like, you know, I'm one of those people who listen sometimes.
Mhm.
I
So,
may not get there. I get there eventually sometimes, but sometimes I'm just like, and I'm an arguer. No, Lord. Mm-mm.
me too.
Nope. He's like, do it again. You never know what happened. I'm like, I know what is going. No one's going to pick me.
Right.
Do it again. Like, it was last minute too. It wasn't like, because there's a time period to
That's right. There's a time period.
get nominated or have someone nominate you. And I was like, I'm just not even going to bother. Anyway, long story short, nominated, went through the process, and it's like, what? Me? I was in such shock. When I say shock, I was just like, for real? Really? And I didn't even get the black part. Believe it or not, you think that would have been the first part, the thing that hit me, like first black.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
No.
was just shocked that I was caught. That was going to be poet laureate. It was
Yeah.
later that I was like, wait a minute, I'm the first African American. Wow, and that really weighed on me because it's like people have been fantastic, and I
Hmm.
was waiting for the other shoe to drop for people to be like, mm,
Right. No.
uh, yeah. But
Right.
people have been really great. They've been very welcoming. That I will give, because that's one of the things people ask me a lot is how have you been
Treat.
welcomed,
Hmm.
treated, and very well, very
I,
well.
I love that. And I want to say too that I love the fact that we're still making history in all these different arenas in the arts council and everything. But I also think it's a sad thing that we're still saying first African American for this, right? Like
Yes.
you telling me there wasn't African American writers in Prince William County that didn't deserve that? Stop. You know what I'm saying? So but there's been a highlight on diversity, and I'm so glad about it. Even at my job, I'm like, come on now, we need some more African Americans that shine in these categories.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
and I think that now there's a focus and a highlight on that, and for that, I'm so forever grateful. So I want to get into your poems. We can't wait to hear. Please, all right.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off with some haikus, and let me explain what haikus are for those of you who don't know. So haikus are really short poems, only 3 lines, 5 syllables on the first line, 7 on the second, and 5 on the third. So a total of 17 syllables, not words. Not words. Stop tagging me on these wrong things that you're calling haiku. Now,
Right,
if they're all 1 syllable words, yes, but most people don't write all 1 syllable words.
exactly.
So 17 syllables to make a point. It started in Japan, only on Nature and Flowers. The other countries switched it up. They basically didn't want to do it only on Nature and Flowers, so it still has to be 17 syllables. It's
Hmm.
technically a senryu, but we don't use that distinction. Just like when you say tree, you don't necessarily say palm, but it's still a tree.
Right, right.
Okay, so haiku. Strong women are not unbreakable. We just know you ain't the hammer. Haiku. You cannot divide yourself into fractions to
Mhm.
make someone else whole.
Woo! That's one of my favorite. Woo!
Haiku. There's no such thing as the right time, but there is a time you make right.
Mm.
Haiku. Yes, they threw likes at your post, but they don't like you. Jealousy likes you.
Mm.
Haiku. When strange fruit becomes fruit, does a forest become a cemetery? Haiku. Let's Shakespeare up. To be shot or not to be shot? That's what blacks question.
Kim, I swallowed like a couple of those. Yes, it's so real. I love it. I love it. It's so real. I do a lot of poetry too about the current events of Black people. There's no way that
Yeah.
I can be who I am and not talk about what's going on with Black people. But I love the fact that you also talk about what goes on in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? And what goes on in our own human frailty, and the flaws that come with being human, right? I love
Yeah.
that. Oh, I love those haikus. Ooh,
Thank you.
right. I'm ready for your next poem or whatever you're ready to share.
All righty. So this one is called The Black Crayon, and I shall read it. Oh, it's in my book called My Poetry is the Beauty You Overlook. Black Crayon. I wonder if the black crayon knows how it's pronounced in Spanish and treated in English. I wonder if the black crayon knows it was never meant to be colored with, only used. If it was discarded, it would be blamed for being unuseful. I wonder if the black crayon knows it is hated. I wonder if it knows it must stay in the corner of the box, segregated from the better colors, since it's too dark. Pigmentation challenge. Treated like a leper. Looked at for problems, but not solutions. Roasted like charcoal and blamed for the fire. I wonder if the black crayons know if it broke, it would be blamed for being broken while pretending to be whole. It will not scream. It will stand quietly still, hoping its color is not the cause of its destruction. I wonder if the black crayon knows if it could not color anymore, it would still be called colored or lack with the B in front of it, black. If it was chosen, it would be drawing something ugly, watching its color be secured to anger, begging for a chance to draw beauty. Black crayons, repent for your misconceptions. When one black crayon draws outside the line, all black crayons are answerable. Maybe they could try to look softer. Maybe their hardness is a protective coating. A black crayon can write in several languages and be ignored in all of them. Crayons grieve. I wonder how often black crayons cry. Can they hear their own tears, or is solitude louder than pain? Will you draw black tears or just call them periods? Aren't sentences syllabalized weapons that end with the black dot? I wonder if black crayons ever compare war stories with black pens. I wonder if a crayon could draw its own agony with no paper willing to accept the weight of its thoughts. What are black crayons supposed to draw? Should they lightly sketch how lonely it is inside of a crowded box? This box is so small. Black crayons smell freedom every time the box is open. They are taught discipline. They know their place. They draw whole in pieces. They draw life and defy death. They bleed inside that box. Even when selected, black crayons know it's only temporary air. After all, boxes were not made to be empty.
Ooh, I love that. It's so powerful in so many ways. My first book, Black Dresses Stain, it reminds me of the symbolic nature of what you're saying with black crayons. And I wrote Black Dresses Stain to kind of show how, when you stain a black dress, you may not see the stains on it, right? And how,
Oh, nice.
yeah, and a lot of time as women, right? Because that book was definitely dedicated to women. As women, we get the stains and we wear the bruises and we have the scars and the bloods on, but we still are dressing up the dress, and it's a black dress and we looking good in it, but we're not even looking to see the scars underneath it, the pain, the way that life has affected us, right? That
Exactly.
we wear the mask. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I love that whole symbolic nature of black crayons, right?
Mhm.
Not even being acknowledged, And it's true because I have kids, the black crayon hardly ever gets used actually, right? It's
Right,
or
right.
it's something,
Exactly.
in real life. And so I love that, to think that black is a color that is supposed to mean dark and unpure and unholy, right? And it's written to the psyche of even our people, right? And
Hmm.
black is it symbolizes that. So that's so powerful. All right, I'm ready for your next one whenever you are.
Okay. So this one is called My Pen. Maybe my pen can teach your pen how to swim, but you're so busy hating, you can't learn no lessons. You don't get to define me with your faulty ink. You don't get to decide I'm only good for haiku. You don't get to decide what I'm good for at all. The only thing you get to decide is what part of my shade you get to sit in. So have a seat and watch me slay on a stage you swore I would never step foot on. Don't you get it? I'm not fearful of ink dripping from a dry pen. Stop trying to ungoogle me. The best you can do is hold my cape and make sure it don't get dirty. You can play Robin while I'm at bat, man. Hm, I slaughter 17 syllables when I sleep. So when I get up and add a conjunction and make it a poem, it will function. You see, this poet can weaponize her words so quickly, you don't even know you've been cut. Hmm, I use your own blood to dismiss you with. Don't complain about my verbiage. If what I say is so useless, you should use it less. Drinking my Kool-Aid but claiming not to like the flavor. You don't seem thirsty no more, though. My poetry is not open to debate. This pen and paper be Houdini and make pain disappear. All you need to do is take a seat in my pew. Watch my words take flight, penetrating souls and feeding minds. I'm an email. I deliver words invisibly. I'm a doctor. I perform surgery on your right and left cortex. I don't get played. I write the script. I walk around with this disease in my mouth, trying not to infect you. My words can give you purpose, but they also give subpoenas. You've been served. Never step into a poet's den unprotected. Your tongue can save your ears from the verbalization of punishment that I can inflict. Yes, I can make you smile, but I can also make your thoughts bleed. I make stitches necessary while cutting open your closed mindedness. I serve truth as an appetizer, the main course, wisdom. You don't get to pick from my menu, but no, everything I serve is food for thought.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love the confidence in that. The words are powerful, and the pen is a powerful weapon.
Yes.
About the time, we don't realize how the pen has been used. I mean, look, the Constitution, right? It's the most powerful piece of paper that people have used against us and for us, depending on how we got argued. Um,
Thank you.
yes, and when I saw Hamilton, right, it was an experience for me. And I took my dad and we went down to Kennedy Center and actually,
Mhm.
and Hamilton was really powerful because he wrote, the
Ah,
pen, you
yes.
know his papers still live today, and the Federalist Papers, and it still lives today, and they are powerful. And so that's kind of what I saw in that play. But I love that. I love that the power of the pen and your words and your weapon. You can't mess with a poet, honey.
That's right.
And
Don't
you
do it.
get cut. Okay. I love it. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some more haikus for you guys, and I explained what they were earlier. So I'm gonna jump right in. You don't have to say haiku before each one; it's just a habit. I enjoy doing it. So haiku. Can't drown out problems with liquor, needles, or pills. Pain will wait for you. Haiku. Companionship is not a solution to pain. Don't give love a job. Haiku. How many times do you have to fall before you stop tripping yourself? Haiku. Even Jesus was betrayed by one of his boys. So, who's your Judas? Haiku. Stop blaming men for having baggage when you have a storage unit. Haiku. Get counseling. Your mate is not your therapist. They're your victim. Haiku. Men fight for what they want. If you have to chase him, then he don't want you. Haiku. Some of you talk about life because you're bored and got no game. Talk less. And this one, haiku. Her name ain't Jesus. She can't quench your thirst. You got peace and peace mixed up.
Ooh. Comment. Ooh. Yes, Kim. Woo. That quenched my soul. Okay. Like, yes. Ooh, you cut me in some of them. I'm like, yes. I hear you. Woo. That was deep. I love that, Kim. That was powerful. And I haven't gotten to haikus the way I should have over the years. Until I saw like a couple of poets like yourself and other poets that, they're so good at it. You know what I'm saying? That it kind of grasps you. I never liked the kind of nature type haikus. Let's just put
Right.
like the original, like, version of haikus, the Japan, original, intention. But yeah, I love it. I love it. It's so powerful to me. The way that you write. And so one thing that before we get into like one more poem that I want you to present, what was like some of your inspirations for writing? What did you go through any epiphanies that kind of helped you become a better writer?
I'm when it came to haikus, I heard a poet do it at a show, and I was like, "What is a haiku?" So I came home and I researched it because if you want to know something, people, research it for yourself.
Right.
This is how I get into arguments with people on different shows and programs when they come and they say, "This is a haiku and it's 30 syllables," and I say, "It's not a haiku," and they go, "Well, I performed this at several shows and they said it was okay." It doesn't matter what they say. Know
That's
your
right.
craft. Know your craft. So haikus are not supposed to rhyme. And the original form of a haiku was complete thoughts. So the 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables all started with a capital letter because every sentence was a complete thought. So, like a lot of people now make it all capital letters, but that was the old format when you didn't carry the thought onto the next page. So, just a thought when you're writing your haikus. As far as expanding, it's really, I tell people practice different things, practice different things, practice different things, because that's how you figure out what you're good at. That's how you figure out how you're going to expand yourself. And that's how you figure out what you thought you didn't know that you did know, because you don't know until you try it. And then
Yes.
if you didn't like it, then work on it to do it better next time.
Yes. Yes. And so any life experiences or epiphanies that you had in your life that have like shaped you as a writer?
Oh, definitely. Definitely kids. Kids will
Mm-hmm.
blow your mind. If you don't have any,
I
nothing
have
wrong with
three,
that.
so I
But
know.
if you do, woo, they change your perspective on everything.
Yes,
Everything.
yes.
It's something for you to survive something or to go through something, and it's something for you to be concerned with your children going through things. It
Mm-hmm.
puts it in a wholly different perspective. So
Yeah.
my our views on being black in America is one thing. Our views on being black in America with children skyrocket
That's right.
to infinity and beyond when you're concerned with children and children's safety and them
That's
being
right.
treated fairly and them being allowed to be the person they were supposed to be and not put in a box. And what if they want to go into a field that's not typically a black person's field? There's so much, it's a
Yeah.
domino.
Yeah. It's so funny that you said that. It's children it has been epiphany for me too. And it's like, I was always a fearless person, right? I did bold, fearless things. But it's true that children, they bring a fear out of you in a way because you fear for them. Even if you trust in God and you say, I
Yes.
hold, key. We have this natural thing, like, okay, kill me, but don't kill my child now. You know what I'm saying? This is out of order. Don't take away my children. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so when I'm looking at these news reports and everything that's going on, I think that like we are all like in the back of our mind, like, like just like God protect our kids. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And
Yes.
that's real. That's real. You know what I'm saying? I,
Mm-hmm.
I think of my son and how, like, for a while he couldn't hear out of one ear very well. He's progressed, but thinking like if he got stopped, he wouldn't even been able to hear. Like
Right.
maybe a cop stopping him, and they might have shot him or something because he's carefree. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
just any little thing. So I always tell him, when you walk down the street, if I'm not with you, I don't want you playing that music in your ears because you already have a bad hearing problem. You see a cop, just stop.
Right.
Immediately let him know you can't hear well in one ear.
Right.
So these little, I mean, just the littlest things that I wouldn't even have to think about, and now like a concern. And it is a different world for us that have children in America. And it makes me also appreciate the movements that came before me, the civil
Yes.
rights movements and movements that parents put themselves on the line because they
And
wanted a
kids
better life.
too.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
realize kids sat at the counter either until I
Yeah,
researched.
that's right. The college students. That's right.
Younger, even younger than that.
Even younger. Yes, the kids did sit-ins too. Yes, it was ridiculous. People put themselves on the line. A lot of times, the parents that they didn't hide their children. They went on the marches. They took the children with them.
Yes.
So it was like a family affair.
Mm.
And I think that's we live in a time as this, and we have a responsibility. So I love that because you
Yes.
feel that sense of responsibility. I'm gonna let you close out the show, but I'm gonna read a poem.
Yay!
Yeah, so that way we can share. And this is from the book Relive. Everything that you talked about just reminds me of like Relive. You can show your book too before we
Oh,
please, Kim. Yes,
get
yes.
sometimes.
I love it. I love
Thank
it. And we'll
you.
we'll ask you where you can get that too after you get the at the end, and
Okay.
where people can reach you. But yeah, I wrote this as a place in my time where my life had come to like a closing, felt like I was dying, right? Like a like
Hmm.
a like a end, a end to things that needed to end, you
Yes.
know. But it felt like it still feels like a death, right? I mean, no matter
Hmm.
what. And I heard guys say, "You just need to relive." And I
Mm.
said, "What? Relive? Are you kidding me?" And he said, "No, you just need to take up your bed and walk and relive."
Wow.
And when I tell you that to get through that temporary pain brought a new life in me that only God could bring. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I do.
It was amazing. So this is Relive. When you come so close to death, you can forget how to live. You
Mm.
can get so used to pain, you have no desire for true love. You can give so much away, being empty feels normal. But you must know that life is made to relive again. And death comes so something can be reborn. Spirits can become so still, hearts so cold, piercings are no longer felt. Words no longer bear meaning, bonds lose all their ties, so much so your lies become the truth.
Mm.
Daily living can be so much of a game, players bear no resemblance to anything human. The pieces all fade while the world stands still, where you feel like your pain is the only thing real. Your senses can become so dull that the flowers seem painted, the smile stale, touches fragmented. You begin to bet on death's timing, call for destinies that are destined to last only for a moment. Because you forgot that life is made to live again. And even in death, everything and everyone can be reborn. Femininity can transform into masculinity. True gentlemen can become callous creatures after one deep wound. Blood can become thinner than water, although the bruises are old. And broken bones can come back to haunt you in the middle of your prime. You don't know how to turn back the clock to begin again. By rediscovering life, all can be reborn. Even in death, new life can be found, celebrated. Even in loss and heartbreak, one can choose to relive.
Yes.
So that's from the piece Relive. Thank
Nice.
you so much. So I just want you to end with your poem that you, whatever your signature poem with, one you love doing the most, whichever one.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Ooh. stuck between two. You know how well you know.
Yes, but you can do both. You can end with both. So
Okay, okay. I'll do this one first. And this one is called Dress You. I was invisible. At least I thought I was. But apparently you can see me. I'm like a convenience store. You must have driven past me, but you didn't stop because I'm not convenient. I searched for you. So much so I learned to play hide and seek with my depression. There are no hiding spaces left. So I sit with my sadness. I wonder about you. A potential relationship. I was desperate to find you, but you play hide and seek better than me. Eventually, I stopped playing life and started living one. Now, here you come. Out of the shadows. You expect this letter to do what exactly? Strengthen a relationship when our common blood is too thin? If you had my address to ask me to dress you, you could have addressed me. Let silence dress you. I wonder who will attend your funeral, since you've always been a ghost. I searched for you for years. I buried you in my soul. I won't attend a second funeral. Why are you so worried about dressing up death when you never cared about life?
oh, I love that. I love that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, of course, I'm debating on which. Okay. I have two topics, two of my favorites. I'm like, pick one. Okay. I know which one I'll do. I'll do not magic. I hate the term black girl magic. Now, before you roll your eyes, try to see through mine. Don't give me a minute. Magic is a trick, a show. It is not permanent. So when the show is over, so is the magic. I don't want sisters to perform anymore. While others are pulling a rabbit out of their hat, we're pulling out degrees and we're still overlooked. We have busted our behind in every category: education, employment, personal development, broken stereotypes, and watch you build them back together again. Ran on track and for office, and the only thing you can come up with is magic? This ain't magic. For so many sisters, this is depression using Maybelline for cover. Depression has straightened more hair than grease, yet we persist. Not all charcoal burns the same. Black burns ain't recognized. Saying we are magic strips us of our accomplishments. Speaking of magic, how you keep making black women disappear? Is that the magic you speak of? So many of us are missing. Black girls have never been magical. We work twice as hard for less. You see, black girls are self-taught, but we don't go to no magic school. Our DNA is not made of sparkles. If you see a little glitter residue, no, that's us making more room for greatness. Black girls ain't magic. We're ancestral sunshine and black rain. We brighten up your day while watering your soul. But don't let all this light fool you. We dive deep into darkness to show this light. Our pain is not recognized, so we hide it well. Is that the magic you speak of? The ability to look happy while struggling? We are not magical. We are strength personified, encapsulated in perseverance. We just want to be our own definition of whole. I've seen too many sisters working to elevate themselves, so I cannot let you reword our efforts to make it effortless. Keep your salt. You only want seasoning. You can't throw shade on black women. We used to sitting in it. You want to honor us? Say you never seen someone so determined to get ready for a party they were never expected to go to, and then show up and be one of the most majestic people in the room, all while juggling haters and she too much in her back pocket. Say black women be warriors for tripling our effort for a single job. Say we are paintbrushes that don't need to be dipped in paint to show color. Magic don't make masterpieces. We do.
Yes. You know what? I've always had a. I know where they get it from, but I do hate that term, magic, black girl magic, because it ain't
Uh-huh.
magic what we doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it makes it seem like it's like a sprinkling dust, like oh magic. You
Right.
know? I love it. I love it. That reminds me too. I wrote a piece about queens. I really had a problem with that for a long time. Like people saying, "Hey, queen," or "You're a queen," and I just never liked that. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Because if you know the real symbolism of queens and what they stood for and what they had to go through and how they were bartered and traded, is not something that we should be ever aspiring to. I've been to enough castles, listened to enough queen stories, watched enough Tudors to know what queens really did. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And what they really put up with. You know what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying? As the
Yes.
sacrifices they made. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I love that Black Girl Magic.
Thank you.
I love that. I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show. Tell us where we can find you, your books, where you on social media. I don't know if you hear a buzz. I hear a little buzz, but I don't know what that is. But tell us
Nope.
where we can find you.
Okay, so my website is easy breezy, kimbmiller.com, www.kim, just the letter B, not B-E, K-I-M-B, Miller.com. And my latest book is called My Poetry is the Beauty You Overlook. It has 10 poems, 10 Kimisms, which are my sayings, and 100 haiku. And that's available everywhere books are sold online. Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, Books A Million, Walmart, you name it, they have it. And my social media is PWC Poet Laureate 2020. No spaces, no caps, no underscore, nothing.
Yes. And I'm going to tag your website in this too, so everybody has access to events you do, and you do some great events on Zoom and live. Giving other poets a chance to really speak their art. I love what you're doing, and I'm so proud of you. And your
Thank
poetry
you.
is so wonderful. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. All right, thank you, Kim.